The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on Tom's Radio Toronto are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of Tom's Radio Toronto or its staff. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment and general information only, in the hope that they will be entertaining and informative to listeners. They are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate in any way any disease or condition, or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice, nor is the information presented necessarily accurate or verifiable. The view.
Well, good afternoon to our listeners, friends, supporters of Tom's Radio Toronto. Well, this is your friend Mon Datol, and of course, I have here with me today my co-host in our new show, Sports Talk. That's great, and you people will know who DJ Owen Foxes is. Come on, DJ Owen, please greet our listeners and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Owen, also known as DJ Foxes, and I'm happy to be here.
That's the only word you can say. Anyways, Owen here is so shy looking guy. He's not that small, he's big, around 5'9", 5'10", and I don't have to say how much he weighed. He outweighed me more than twice probably. But of course, Owen here is a supporter, a believer, and who plays sports. That's why I asked him if he could have a show that delves with sports. Sports not only here in Canada, but sports, international sports, particularly in our country, the Philippines, and his country. Owen came from Kenya, right?
Yes.
And of course, in Kenya, we all know that the sport play there. There are a lot of sports play there, especially soccer. But Kenya, as I could recall, because I'm a sports writer through and through since 1986, and in the Philippines, we have the marathon, the 42.126 kilometer run. And I could still recall in the 90s, we invited some runners from Kenya who ruled the Philippine Open Marathon Championship. I think that was the first time that I've seen a Kenyan runner who finished the race 2 hours more than 2 hours. Well, the Filipinos are not that good in long distance running before, and our fastest time so far then was around 2 hours 25-30 minutes. But the Kenyan, oh my God, they are like a bullet. Kenyans running are like bullets. From start to finish, they're running the same pace that I could see because I covered that event before. Okay, Owen, could you tell me something about, I call the Kenyan runners, the long distance runners, the road warriors because they practically live in the road.
Yeah,
Could you describe your countrymen specializing in track and field, running, marathon, long distance running?
First of all, maybe one thing I'd like to tell you is that they come from a particular place in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So they come from the highlands. So they train at high altitude.
High altitude, yeah?
Yeah. So they train in the highlands. Most of them come from a tribe called Kalenjin. So they train in the highlands, train mostly in the morning, so that when they go to the Olympics, whatever competition they go, depending on where it is, if it's cold, their body is adapted already.
Oh, you mean high altitude training? It's like in our country, it's Baguio City, wherein some 3,000 to 5,000 feet above sea level.
Yes, so something like that. So they train. Well, naturally, I think they're just adapted because they come from a tribe of tall people,
Uh-huh.
and their body type is slender for
Yeah,
the
very
most part.
slim, man.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how they get to train and condition their bodies to run those kind of long races.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's why I call them flying, flying road warriors because of their slim build.
yeah. They're actually even the ladies they train from a very tender age.
Oh,
So by the time they're in their late teens, they're already champions in local races, local competition.
so you could not say how young these runners start training. Is there any age requirements before you could be a world class runners or
No, I
athlete?
don't think there's a particular age. They just start training. Most of them start training in the early teens. So as soon as they go to high school,
Oh,
um,
not elementary, of course. Six,
yeah,
seven
no,
years old.
I think as a country they usually let kids enjoy
The
their childhood.
childhood. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So when they start going to secondary school, high school, that's where they go into groups where they're they get their training.
Uh-huh.
People who like long distance, people like soccer, people like maybe rugby and other things.
So they are being asked by the government or the tribe leaders what kind of sports they want to engage in. Is that
Actually,
like
no,
that?
it's just the high school sports.
Ah,
So
okay.
now the government will go into the high schools to pick whoever is really good. So usually there's inter-school competitions.
Oh, the tournament.
Yeah, there's inter-school tournaments, and then there's inter-provincial, and
Oh
then
yeah,
there's
yeah.
the national championship, and then the regional maybe around East Africa and Africa, and then that's how the stars emerge.
Oh yeah, we also do that in the Philippines. You know, it starts in elementary. Actually, we start at the elementary level of schooling, wherein they will be having some games in track and field,
Correct.
softball, volleyball, not basketball because they are still very
Yeah.
tender. But of course, track and field is there already,
Yeah.
and we don't play soccer then in the villages, but sipa or we use the feet. There's a ball. We call that sipa in the Philippines. In your country, I think it's soccer for the young kids, wherein they start playing the ball at the age the first time that they could walk. Probably there is a ball in their feet, right?
Yeah, correct. But it's not really there's kids who from a young age they decide they're playing rugby,
Uh-huh.
playing
Rugby.
soccer
Oh
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
common, yeah. Soccer is just common game in Africa in general.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of people choose different things. The people who are in even field games like javelin and short put.
Oh,
Yeah,
athletics games, right? The
yeah.
sports.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Not so. I was misguided there because I believe only in long distance running and track and field athletics are Kenyans so superbly trained. So you also have other kind of sports that your countrymen are gaining popularity, and of course. Are they being paid to do that since the start of, or the government is helping them?
Some of them are paid from a young age.
Yeah.
Some of them just do it for love. There's a lot of athletes who, they have other jobs. Um, we have, I think, one of the 200 champion. Um, he's not. That's his full time job. He's a police officer.
Uh-huh.
So some of these guys They just do that because they can represent the country, and when the championships are over, they go back to their regular lives.
Oh, so you mean the government, like in the Philippines, we have considered those special athletes. They are put up in a national team group that the government is giving them monthly allowances. They're not being paid because they're amateurs. When amateurs receive payment, they could be considered professionals. But in our country, we still consider them amateurs put up in a certain groupings, Class A, Class B, Class C. And those Class A plus plus will be representing the Philippines in the World Championship and then the Olympics as well. But they receive some kind of allowances during the training for the Olympics. Do you still
Oh
also
yeah,
have that national
yeah,
athletes category?
of course, yeah. Anyone who's they usually, like for example, when the Olympics was about to start, so earlier on in the year, they'll have an Olympics camp.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
anyone who goes to the Olympic camp, they they're given allowances,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously depending on what you bring home, gold, bronze, or silver,
Silver, yeah.
yeah, you're given a certain amount
You're
as
given
appreciation.
bonuses.
Exactly.
Correct. In the
Yeah.
Philippines now, we don't have we did not win any gold medal yet in the Olympics, but we have a handful of several golds in the World Championship, Asian Games, Southeast Asian Games, except the Olympics. And the first Filipino, I believe, could be gaining around 30 million pesos, a house and lot, and of course, fame, trophies, and a lot of
Yeah.
endorsement. In your country, gold medalists are given bonuses to the extent of being a millionaire. I
Yeah.
like that. After winning the gold.
Yeah, they're given quite a large amount of money. I'm not sure exactly what it is,
Uh-huh.
but they're usually given allowances, and then different companies within the country are
Oh,
going to give them
endorsement, right?
endorsements.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So in our country, of course, they will be given house and lot for them to retire handsomely for their services to the country. And probably all the countries in the world do that to their national
Yes.
athletes, right?
Correct. Yeah.
What matters most probably now is the emergence of, in your country, soccer is that your national game or national sport? Like others, African countries and Europe as well?
Yeah, it's the most popular game, especially at club level.
Club level,
Yeah,
okay.
it's very popular. We haven't really done well internationally,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people play it right from like elementary school into high school.
Oh, you have a professional league in Kenya, the soccer.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we have a professional league. I think we have a professional league in all major games. We have a professional league in soccer,
Okay.
rugby, netball, field hockey, and which
Oh,
other
it's
one?
field hockey, not like
Yeah.
here ice hockey, right?
No. There's
Uh-huh.
field hockey. Yeah. Yeah.
In field hockey, is it the same like we are being played here ice hockey, but that there's no ice in your area? But in the field, the grass or what about the soil, the land,
Yeah, it's
or the
usually
grass?
it's usually grass, or lately they've installed turf on the hockey fields.
Okay.
So and they use a ball, not a puck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
So it's the
it's
ball, not the puck. Of course,
yeah,
puck will not move there
yeah,
in
of course, yeah,
in the soil, of course.
exactly. Yeah. So it's a round ball.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a professional league for the ladies and for the gentlemen.
Ah, nice one. By the way, can I ask you what's the population of Kenya?
Wow.
If you could determine the actual number of Kenyans in your country.
Last time I checked, we are about 40 to 50 million. Not too sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kenya is a
Well,
small country with a lot of people. I
yeah, in the
haven't checked.
Philippines, we are a small country, of course, in Asia, but we have around 109 million now.
Oh wow.
Yes, but Indonesia, it's like the Philippines as far as the area is concerned, and they have around 270 million now, the latest population. And in our country,
Kenya's population is 52.5 million
52, oh,
as of
almost half of our,
2019. Yes.
yes. And your main sport is soccer, rugby.
And athletics.
The two major games in your country is soccer and rugby,
Soccer and
and of
rugby.
course athletics, track and field, right?
Yeah, and volleyball as well.
Volleyball, the men and
Yeah.
women, right?
Yes.
And okay, because we are going to discuss the Olympics as we go along. Had your country participated in Olympics before?
Oh yeah. I think
Okay.
ever since I was born, even before, Kenya always went to the Olympics. This year, I think they
In
sent.
Tokyo, are they going to send
Yeah.
in Tokyo?
Yeah, they sent 85 people in total. So
Wow.
yeah, in
85 athletes plus the officials, the
plus the
coaches.
officials. Yes. No, that's just the
The
players
athletes
is
only.
85. So they're in athletics,
Okay.
boxing, rugby, taekwondo, and volleyball.
Volleyball, men and women.
Yes. No, just the women.
The women are more
Yeah.
powerful than men's
Yeah,
volleyball.
the women's team is very good.
Oh yeah, that's
Very,
nice.
very
That's
good.
nice.
They've been African champions at some point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very competitive group of girls.
Well, how many boxers did you send to Tokyo?
They sent four in total, two men and two women.
All right.
Yeah.
We have, I think, three women and two men.
Oh.
And some of our boxers have already met your boxers in World Championship, I believe. And,
Is Pacquiao going?
no, Pacquiao is a professional boxer, and he will be fighting August 21 in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And unluckily, Pacquiao was not able to pursue the amateur boxing. He just went directly to the professional after engaging in some amateur fights when he was that young, before turning professionals. But of course, as we go along, I want to know more about that because I've known Kenya as a powerhouse as far as athletics is concerned.
Yes.
And it's particularly the long distance running, the marathon, the 20K, the 10,000 meter run,
Yeah,
the
lately
1500, right?
they've been having sprinters as well.
Okay, yeah.
I think
sprinter. 100
world-
and 200 and
yeah.
4 by 100.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're so
the
strong
current
on that
champion,
event.
world record holder of the 200 meters is a Kenyan.
Really? 200 meter?
Yep.
The men's?
Yeah.
Women? The women.
Men's.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, could you do you remember the name? The world record holder now?
Let me just check that right now.
Usain Bolt is, I think, he used to be the world fastest man in 100 and 200.
Let's see. 200
Mr.
meters.
Boyd.
Oh, sorry, it's 800 meters.
Oh, yeah,
800,
yeah.
yeah.
I was really surprised. 200 is a territory
Yeah.
of Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Sorry.
So 800 meter dance, the world champion is from Kenya.
Yeah, let me just check right now.
Okay.
Is the guy I was telling you was a police officer?
Ooh, that's the one you're telling me.
Yes.
And he's a police officer. Nobody could outrun him if he's trying to catch a robber,
True.
A snatcher. Watch out, the snatchers in the Kenya.
Yeah.
All right. And what about the long distance runner from Kenya now? I think you have around 2 or 3 entries in the marathon and the 20K, the 10,000 meters. You have a lot of entries in that event.
Yeah, there's, I don't know them particularly by name, There's one guy called Chariot.
Okay.
He is I think he's the current world champion. For the I think it's the 10,000 meters. Let me.
Oh,
I
that's
think I think
right, right.
yeah, I think I have a picture of him. Let's check here.
You know what? That we envy this Kenyan, ano? Oh, that's the guy.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Oh, oh boy.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
him.
And that's your uniform, of course.
Yeah, that's the
Chariot.
most famous uniform. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Probably I've seen this guy because I watch a lot of athletics game. You know, when I was still covering a sporting event in the Philippines, in Asia, in other parts of the globe, while performing my duty as a sports writer,
Yeah.
I met a lot of runners, particularly in Asia. You know, and the Kenyan, we invited them in the Philippines before in the 90s, and they won our initial Philippine Open Marathon. They're so fast. I told you, we were really surprised. They're slim built, and and we don't know how they train. That's why, as you divulge now, high altitude training. We have an athletes camp in Baguio City where we train our not only athletics but other athletes as well. The boxers, our world class boxers, also train in Baguio.
Okay.
All right. After the break, we will be discussing what are the runners doing the night before the major track and field event or the night before the marathon. We will be back after some words from our friends. Nice one, nice one.
Yeah.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our clients in Canada and overseas in a wide range of immigration matters. We focus on providing support, building dependable relationships, and promoting success. We are dedicated to understanding what results you want, to helping you understand what actions we can take on your behalf.
Keep your stamina.
We're back, Mon Datol Owen here, talking about sports. Of course, we love sports so much. I was previously engaged in sports writing in the Philippines, and even here, when I have still my newspaper, the Philippine Courier, for 17 years, I give emphasis on sports. You could not escape sports writing, you know. Well, of course, Owen, what sport do you play when you were still a young kid, Owen?
I played basketball in high school and rugby in university.
Rugby.
Yeah, I actually played rugby here in Ontario as well.
No, in Toronto, you're playing still rugby.
I played for the Oakville Crusaders.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a
I played for
very
one season.
physical game, right?
Yeah, very physical. Yeah.
I don't even think myself banging bodies with those
Yeah, I know.
rugby players, you know.
It's a good game. It's actually funny enough, as physical as it is one of the safest games ever.
Yes, we have a rugby team in the Philippines composed of some Fiji, Filipino players. They're huge. They're big. Are standing around
Yeah.
5'9", 5'8", 6 feet,
Yeah.
weighing around 190 to 120. We have a rugby team in the Philippines competing now in the Asian level, but they are not true blue Filipino born in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
Although we
Some.
have tall players playing basketball now, like our 7'3", 19-year-old boy, Kai Soto, who is now being groomed to be the first Filipino born to play in the NBA in the forthcoming
Oh,
years, of course.
that'll be nice.
He's 7'3", 19 years old, now playing for the Philippine national team, the Gilas team.
That's
Yes,
good.
yes. And of course, the Filipino-American Jalen Green, probably the top three rookie draft in the NBA.
That was
Remember the
last year.
name? Jalen Green.
Yes, I
He's a
remember.
Filipino-American cager. Well, going back to, I was really interested in the Kenyan runners'
Yes.
preparation for big events. Because all the major long distance running I've watched on television, the U.S. athletics game, the marathon, the Boston, everything, New York marathon, the Kenyans are there in the top 5 or top 10 athletes, sometimes winning, sometimes the top 3, the Kenyans. What do you think are their secrets? Of course, in building up those stamina, not only training in the 5,000 feet high altitude training, it helps a lot, right?
Yeah.
But what do they eat?
To be honest, I wouldn't be sure,
Uh-huh.
but like we were discussing earlier, I think it's that having a lot of carbs before the game. I mean, before the competition.
Yes, yes.
Just
Especially the marathon. It's a long running.
yeah,
Yeah, I believe they're carbohydrates or carbo loading. They call it carbo
carb
loading.
loading. Yes.
Yes, before they venture into running for
Into running.
42 kilometers.
Yeah.
26 miles is not a
Because you
joke.
need that energy, right?
Yes, correct.
So I
And the only
think
thing you could take is water.
water, yeah. So I think for energy, you just have to have your carbs so that during the race, and I think they eat between a certain time. I think a certain number of hours before the race,
Yes.
so that so that by the time the digestion is just finishing, now they're going into the race.
Yes, I believe so. Because one time when I could still recall several years back when I was a sports writer, some of the invited foreigners live in the Okada Manila Hotel. And that I think it's around nighttime when they had their carbo loading. Then eating a lot of carbo. Even Filipinos, I saw them a lot of food that were prepared for these athletes. And then I don't know what there are a lot of foods there, but particularly when I asked the chef, the Filipino chef, that's carbo loading that they're doing right now, because after eating that they take a rest for several minutes, hours, and then jump to the road.
Yeah.
Actually, the marathon starts at around 4 or 5 in the morning in the Philippines because it's so hot there when it reaches around 8 or 9 in the morning. And they run the road, especially the foreign invited runners, in 2 hours and 10 or 15 minutes. But of course, the Kenyan, I think the record previously was 2 hours and 4 or 5 minutes. Very fast in comparison with our Asian standard, the 2 hours, 10 or 15 minutes. The Filipinos has 2 hours and around 25 minutes. Too far from the time registered by Kenyan runners. Kenyan, Ethiopian, and a lot of African runners. They have been invited there, I know. I think the winner's Ethiopian or from Kenya. I could not recall that. It's some 15 or 20 years ago. It's too long.
Yeah.
Too long ago. But the first time that I've seen African runners, I was really amazed with their build. They're standing around 5'8", 5'9", slim body, but very strong legs and body, of course.
Yeah, in October 2019,
Okay.
there's a guy called Eliud Kipchoge. So this guy, he ran the fastest marathon distance
Okay.
ever. So he did 21.2 kilometers. No, it wasn't that. He ran the marathon in 1 hour 59 minutes and 40 seconds.
Less than 2 hours?
Yeah.
My goodness. It's
Yeah.
26 miles.
Yeah. So he
It's
did
42.126 kilometers
Yeah.
in less than 2 hours. That's a world record. Nobody
Yeah.
can beat that.
the whole record. You can actually watch it. I'll get it for you to watch it.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And it's so popular, I believe, in your country because
He's popular. Very
oh
popular.
yeah, he's a national hero. But, yeah. Until now, I still running.
Yeah, he's still running. He's going to accompany the team, but he's not competing.
In Olympics in
No,
Tokyo. Why? It's just your goal for your country if he participates there. Because there's a marathon race in the Olympics, the center field. That's the last day of competition. The marathon is being played.
Yeah.
And the last athlete that barges inside the Olympic is the leading runner in the marathon. That's traditional in all. Athletics is a traditional sport in the Olympics. And all countries are being given tickets, 1 or 2 athletes to participate in athletics in the Olympics. Wow. 1 hour, 59 minutes.
1 hour 9 minutes, and I think that was 42
Where did he
kilometers.
run that? Where? What event?
In Vienna. No, that was an exhibition run.
It is not an official competition.
No, it wasn't official, but it was the fastest
Yeah, but
run
still,
42 kilometers. Yeah.
yes, it's the fastest so far that I've heard. What I've heard is the 2 hours and 1 minute or 2 minutes, but below 2 hours in that blistering pace. My goodness. First time that I heard it, under 2 hours in a marathon. All right, so we are going to watch the Olympic here in our station. I believe it will start. The opening starts on July 24, 25, I think. 24th.
Yeah.
And do you know your plug carrier? Do you know the members of your team?
The members of the team, I don't know who's the flag bearer. I think I can check that.
Yeah, the Filipino is replaced. Our previous flag bearer is our Paul Bolter or Jay Obiana, but he was changed because he could not arrive in time for the opening of the Tokyo Olympics. So they changed it to our boxer, Yumir Marshall, our best bet for the gold in the middleweight category. I hope we met your boxer in the finals for the gold. Oh, wow, that could be.
That would be nice.
Yes. The Kenyan middleweight finalist against the Filipino boxer, Yumir Marcial. All right. Well, in Tokyo, food are all over there.
Yeah.
But the problem now, it was postponed. It used to be in last year's 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Postponed now because of the pandemic. I've read a while ago. I've seen it on television. The latest report in the pandemic inside in Tokyo. There are around more than 1,000 infection, the biggest so far in uh, in 2 weeks. I
Yeah,
don't know what.
I had read the news yesterday. The news you were reading yesterday.
Yeah, so I was wondering what is the International Olympic Committee, the sports official are doing. They banned the fans of watching the games, right?
Yeah, no one is going to go to the
The
games.
venues, huh?
Yeah, no spectators.
Yeah, and they
It's
lost
just
a
into the
lot for
officials
that. Even the Japanese people, they could not watch live, but they could just watch only on television.
on television. Yeah,
Yes, but of course, the organizing committee, the host, I believe, would be losing so much in this endeavor because of the pandemic.
yeah,
Imagine a country spending around 50 billion US dollars. Huh?
yeah, and then not getting most of that back because even not if the government gets it back, but even the local businesses,
Yes,
I know a lot of them are invested in the Olympics,
even
knowing they're
even
going to make money back.
yeah, the International Olympic Committee, the one that organizes it and give it to the different cities all over the world to host that, the only way that they could recoup their investment is through television rights. They're selling television rights to more than 100 countries in the world that wants to see the Olympics. They have previous contracts for that. And probably they could not recoup all the money, the billions of dollars they spent, but at least they could probably salvage some billions of dollars that they've spent so much for the delayed and the postponement of the 2020 Olympics. All right. What I mean, in our country, we played a lot of games and sporting events, but not all are being played in the Olympics.
Yeah.
In your country, what other games that you know are not included in the Olympics that probably could excel Kenyans to win the golds in any event if such game would be played in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think. Um, oh wow. I know netball,
Netball.
netball. Yeah, and then
How is netball being played? Is it like volleyball or
netball is more like basketball.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, and you know how the basketball rim is
Yes, yes.
with the backboard.
Correct.
So the netball doesn't have a backboard.
Only the ring.
Only the rim. Yeah, yeah. Actually, my mom played that.
Oh, how tall is it? How high is the ring?
It's not as high as basketball, but
Basketball is 10 feet, of course.
yeah. So it's probably I would say
Around 8.
between 7 and 8, 8.5.
Oh,
I think.
you could
Yeah.
still dunk the ball.
Yeah, but there's no dunking in netball.
It's not permitted.
Yeah,
Only shoot out.
yeah. You just and even if you get near the rim, and then you have to throw the ball.
Oh, an
So there's
arcing
no-
way. So that
yeah.
it will, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Here in Canada, do you know what are the national sports of Canada? Just a trivia.
I would say
A lot of Canadians,
hockey. So hockey is number
Okay.
one, and
And the other
then soccer and rugby.
nah.
No.
No. There are two national sports or
Curling.
event or no.
Oh wow.
You know what? Lacrosse.
Oh yes.
It's lacrosse and
Yes.
ice hockey. The national games being played here in Canada. I was also perplexed without knowing it. I just look at it when because I'm a sports writer before, I searched a
Yeah.
lot of the different sports, national sports of each country that I visited, and I was really surprised. I thought it
Yeah.
was ice hockey and baseball or major soccer is played here now, unlike before, and unlike Europe or Africa that soccer is the major sporting event. But here in Canada, of course, ice hockey. Basketball is invented by a Canadian,
Canadian, yes.
right?
Yeah.
Naismith. But it is lacrosse.
Oh, wow.
Do you
But
know
I
how
don't
to
even see them competing. They
lacrosse?
usually go, it's just
We have a national lacrosse tournament or league here. U.S. teams have lacrosse competing with Canadian and other countries. You know that there is a lacrosse season. It's like ice hockey season, national hockey, baseball, NBA, right?
But I didn't
But
know
I was
that.
really surprised. Lacrosse.
I'm surprised too.
You could search that and you could see. Anyways, the preparation for the Canada's participation in the Olympics were not shown. Usually, every 4 years of the Summer Games, Canada has been sending a lot of athletes in the quadrennial games and even basketball. I don't know if Canada boards into the Olympic medal play because I think they lost in their bid. Because
But
it's
they sent a team to the Olympics.
now, I don't know. I could not recall if, could you please look at it? If,
Yeah.
because R.J. Barrett, the one of the best Canadian basketeer now playing for New York, I think it's a member of the national team now. Even there are a lot of Canadians playing in the NBA now that were taken by the national team. I don't know if they qualify in the elimination.
Oh, yeah. They didn't make it.
Yes, I told you they didn't make it. They lost in the qualifying tournament
Yeah.
because they don't have really the time to practice. It's like the U.S. team, remember?
Yes.
The U.S. team lost to Senegal or what country is that?
It was Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria beat them even with Duran's presence there, right?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest upset that in the only it's an exhibition, but of course,
Yeah.
beating a dream team like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That team is loaded.
Yeah. All some other, the team they have also NBA players. That's why they are stronger now. Other teams in playing the Olympics. Okay?
Yeah. They lost to Nigeria and
Okay.
Australia as well. The
Yes.
exhibition matches.
Of course, Australia is one strong team having in their lineup some big names in basketball. Ben Simons is from Australia, remember?
Yes.
Huh? And they're quite good ball players. The guards of Australia, they're really good.
Yeah.
Mills is playing for Australia, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the Philippines had not played in the Olympics since 1972, and again we lost. It's now between China and Japan, but we beat Korea in the elimination.
Okay.
In Asia, we got a ticket that will be played in Jakarta, but of course, Indonesia now is suffering quite terribly in
Due
pandemic.
to COVID, yeah.
Yeah. And the games, FIFA games in Asia will be played in, I think it's next month. That's why probably it will be postponed again. Yeah. At any rate, playing in the Olympics is the ultimate
Yes.
destination of all athletes, and they have to do everything just to gain entry to this quadrennial game. But in your country, how many gold medals did you win any gold now in the Olympics ever since you participated?
Last I think last Olympics they had 16 gold medals.
16 gold medals.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was in the last one was in Rio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The last one
had
is in Perth. Rio. Rio
Rio,
de Janeiro.
Rio, that was 2016. Yeah.
Well,
They had 16 gold medals.
wow.
Yeah. So Kenya, Rio. Yeah, they had. Let me just check that for you again, real
Yeah,
quick.
the Philippines just won a silver in Rio in 2016 in weightlifting through our women super woman Hidilyn Diaz, who is now competing in his fourth Olympics. Imagine
Oh
fourth
wow.
Olympics, and is trying to get the first Olympic gold medal for the Philippines of 109 million Filipinos believing in her.
Yeah,
As
that's
he's a
good.
member of the Philippine Army, and as he's retiring after the Olympics to get married to his longtime coach and boyfriend.
Oh, nice, nice.
Oh my goodness. Actually, in Rio, she won the bronze in the 53 kilogram snatch, I believe.
Okay.
But the silver medalist was tested positive for illegal drugs. That's why her bronze was elevated to silver,
Upgraded. Yes.
upgraded to silver.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's it. The only medal that we won in the Rio de Janeiro Games in 2016. And we hope in Tokyo, we win because of probably they are up the ante of 30 million per gold medal plus house and lot. And an instant membership to the whole of fame sports. Yes, so probably, who could say we could win probably one, two. We hope we win a lot of gold medals there, not only bronze or silver.
Yeah.
And mostly, uh, do you believe athletes that bag the gold medal or any medals in the Olympics should retire after their last stint in the Olympics?
I don't think so. I believe this is what I usually believe.
Okay.
If you still have uh, your body in condition that you can compete after another 4 years or keep going, I would suggest you keep going.
Because it is
But
being held every 4 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or the motivation, if you still have the motivation, you keep going.
exactly. Yeah. I don't think someone should retire
After the Olympics?
after the Olympics. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can keep going, keep going.
Probably it depends on what sports or what games are you playing, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
If it
true.
is highly physical, like a judo, taekwondo, boxing, probably after the Olympics, you could turn professional then in boxing, right? That's what De La Hoya did and other national boxers who gained, of course, fame, fortune through professional sports. In your country, there are also professional league sports, right? Aside, of course, from soccer.
Yes.
Do you have any player from Kenya that played in the Euro 2020, the last one that we watched on television?
No. We have one. We have two players who play in one plays in the English Premier League,
Okay.
and I think the other one he played in what's the other one?
Europa.
The Spanish league.
Spanish league.
Yes.
Yes, and going back to, of course, soccer, it is the most played sports all over the globe
The globe.
since
Yes.
then. Right, but before I will leave you a question. Do you think, before we go to another break, do you think racism is so strong in sports, particularly this soccer, the most played game all over the globe? We will answer that when we come back. But firstly, take a break, DJ Owen.
Our company is committed to providing truthful, honest, competent, and result-oriented service through advising and representing our